Traffic looks like this, bumper to bumper, barely moving at a crawl. Drivers said it took them more than a half hour just to go a few miles. Take a look at this. You can see just how high the water got by looking at the debris left on this fence. This is about 4 feet off of the ground. There are buckets just like this one that may have been filled with lacquer or varnish at the time of the fire.
This church gymnasium has filled up with Rubio supporters. We caught up with some of those supporters outside while they were waiting in line.
Chaos is how people describe the scene here on the square today as that shootout was happening just a block away from the courthouse.
1 out of 10 drivers even admitted to taking a video
while they were behind the wheel of a car. People who live in the area say the tornado ripped through this pasture, picking up a cattle trailer and dropping it off right in front of the house. Then it ripped the roof off of this side of the home, scattering debris everywhere. First, the thieves tried to break in through the air duct. You can see the mess they left behind. Then you just connect the app on your phone to your TV, plug in your headphones, and you can watch your favorite shows without disturbing anyone else. And it was actually driving along one of the outer roads that go along Interstate 44. These roads, you can see, are getting a lot of traffic right now. Fire Chief Scott Franzen has never seen anything like it.
I've been doing this a long time in the lake area, and this is our first experience with dealing with a situation like this.
Walls torn apart, the ground split open, and an entire house slowly sliding into the Lake of the Ozarks.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I've never seen anything like that before.
Neighbors like Clarissa Goodman first noticed the landslide yesterday.
I went down to walk to see, what was going on and what it looked like, and I was blown away. I really was. I was just in shock. I couldn't believe it.
Today, the 20-year-old house and everything inside is several feet from where it once stood.
That actually used to be at the same level up here at the road level.
Crews from the Mid-County Fire Protection District, the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, Ameren Energy, and several other agencies are trying to figure out just what's causing the slide.
It's going to be a fairly lengthy process to determine how to ultimately fix this problem.
Officials say the house is still sliding. It's moving at about a half an inch an hour, and now it's starting to rotate, too. Chief Franzen says you can even hear the movement.
It's just cracking and groaning. It's just it's kind of an eerie sound.
Crews are still trying to find a way to stop the slide. But as the house heads for water, the fire department finds itself in uncharted territory.
We fight fires, and this is kind of like I said, a new arena for us.
In Camden County, Eric Hilt, KY3 News.
Dear God, we don't understand the things that happen in this world.
With a short prayer,
We ask for your blessing on all the victims. We ask for healing for Vicki.
and some heavy hearts, the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce is open once again.
It's bittersweet. This is such a family community, strong businesses, and it's just hard.
The chamber is doing its best to get back to normal. 3 days after a shooting killed Allison Parker and Adam Ward and injured Vicki Gardner, the chamber's executive director.
She's recovering, and we're optimistic. She's got a road to hoe, but we thank God.
But as people filed into the office, reminders of the shooting lingered.
It's hard seeing her door shut, but the staff here is amazing and strong.
The story that Adam and Allison were working on with Vicki on Wednesday was about the upcoming 50th anniversary of Smith Mountain Lake, an event that workers say will take on a slightly different feeling.
It just gives everyone more strength and encouragement to continue strong with that.
Strength the lake community will need to remember the victims and try to move on. The yard outside this Willard home is filled with old glory.
This is my favorite.
The inside filled with old memories of a boy who grew up wanting to help others.
He would help the special needs kids find their classes, and he actually, got in a little bit of trouble for being late for his own classes.
That's why his parents weren't surprised when, at a young age, Kendall Johnson told them he wanted to serve his country.
He was going to be a Marine, and he stood true to that. His entire life.
He reached that lifelong goal in 2011, graduating from Camp Pendleton in San Diego and going overseas with the 0311 Security Force.
You just felt like your heart was going to burst out of your chest. You were just so proud.
Kendall returned to the Ozarks earlier this year. Then, in August, he enrolled at Missouri State University with the hopes of continuing to help others, this time as a doctor.
He was excited about it. He'd go to school, come home, do his homework.
But on October 17th, it all came to a sudden and heartbreaking end. Kendall was found dead inside his car at the Springfield Police parking lot. He had shot himself twice.
It's just numbing. I don't know why people do what they do, why they do suicide. I don't know. But I kind of think that at that time he must have not felt like he could go on. And it just breaks my heart.
His parents say they couldn't see it, but Kendall was quietly struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder.
It wasn't what you see on TV, the classic PTSD, where they lock themselves in their room and don't come out.
But they say one moment stands out.
One time she called me when I was out on the road and told me Kendall was being kind of hateful and stuff, and I called and talked to him. And I asked him what happened to my boy, that happy boy that I had. And he said he died over there. And he didn't come back.
As difficult as that is for parents to hear, experts say outbursts like that are common in veterans with PTSD.
What you often see is some numbness, but in other cases, all of those other emotions, they come out as anger. That's the only one that they feel safe to experience because there is a sense of being in control.
Counselor Stephanie Starkey says the key is knowing what to look for.
More and more information is available, much more than was prior, and at the same time, it still doesn't seem like it's quite sufficient.
So now Kathy and Bob Davis are calling on lawmakers to do more to educate veterans and people close to them about PTSD.
Send things out, to their parents or their husbands or their wives for signs to look for, who to call. We didn't know what you do. We owe our veterans more than what we give them.
Kathy joined the organization 22 Too Many that works to raise awareness about the disease.
I've never been in a movement or supported anything, but I do feel like this is what I need to do.
And she's continuing to help others, just like Kendall spent most of his life doing.
It's not Kendall's movement, but it's his voice helping.